Okay, so you've brought a ton of stuff on Foundr.
Yeah.
Course descriptions, testimonials, reviews, even some of their, like, marketing copy, it seems like.
Right.
You really want to get to the bottom of whether
Yeah.
this whole Foundr thing is it legit or is it hype?
Yeah.
And I am here for it.
Absolutely. I think, multiple perspectives are important, right? And I think that's what we're trying to do today. We're trying to play detective a little bit, look at all this evidence and figure out, is Found right for you? Because that's what it really comes down to, right?
Yeah.
Your investment.
Totally. Okay, so right off the bat, Foundr calls itself a, quote, global media and education company.
Okay.
Which, I don't know, feels kind of vague.
Yeah, it's pretty broad.
It's pretty broad, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does that even mean?
What does that even mean?
But their big, I guess, selling point is making entrepreneurship accessible.
Right.
But again, is that just marketing, or is there actually something to that?
Well, I mean, they definitely throw around some pretty impressive stats.
Okay.
Millions of followers, right? Like, they've connected with some big names in the business world.
Yeah.
Richard Branson.
Okay.
Ariana Huffington.
Sure.
These aren't exactly, small-time players.
Those are big names for sure.
Yeah.
But, a big name
Right.
doesn't always equal quality.
Right. Absolutely not.
So we have to look at what are they actually offering.
Right, exactly. So let's dig into these courses a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, just looking at the list here, you've got Start and Scale, E-commerce Masters, Instagram Domination.
Right.
I mean, even Start Your Side Hustle.
Okay.
Like, they're really running the gamut here.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to, cover all their bases.
Yeah.
Appeal to a wide range of aspiring entrepreneurs.
Totally. Which, on one hand, that's great. Like, there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, does that mean that maybe they're not experts in everything? You know what I mean?
Are they spreading themselves too thin?
Exactly.
That's the question.
Okay, and one other thing
Yeah.
I notice, just kind of skimming through these materials, is that sometimes they mention coaching as part of the Found experience.
Okay.
But it's not always clear if that's, like, included in the price of a course.
Right. Is it an upsell?
Or if it's, like,
Yeah.
an extra thing you have to pay for.
Yeah, because that definitely changes the equation, right?
Totally.
If you're already investing in a course, and then you find out you need to shell out even more to get that personalized guidance,
Right.
it's a big consideration.
Huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to keep an eye out for that
Absolutely.
as we're going through all this.
Definitely something to watch out for.
Okay. Now, you can't talk about Foundr
Right.
without talking about the success stories.
Of course. They're everywhere.
I mean, they are plastered
Yeah.
all over the Foundr website.
Yeah.
And, I mean, naturally,
Of course. They're going to highlight the wins.
of course,
Yeah.
they're not going to highlight the people
Right.
who didn't find success.
Exactly.
But can we actually learn anything
Yeah. That's the...
from these,
Right.
almost too good to be true stories?
Yeah, I think so. It's easy to dismiss them as marketing fluff.
Right.
But I think even in curated stories, you can find these patterns.
Okay.
So instead of just looking at, did these people succeed, maybe we look at, if so, what did their success have in common?
Okay, I like where your head's at.
Yeah.
So I will say there was one story
Okay.
that really jumped out at me. Her name is Steph. And after working with a Foundr coach,
Okay.
her monthly revenue went up by like 582%, which is bananas. Like, she went from making $2,000 a month to over $11,000 a month.
Okay.
And she's in 23 retailers now.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
And that's what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like measurable, concrete results. And you'll notice her story specifically calls out the coaching.
Right.
Was that the thing that helped her get these amazing results?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a really good question.
Something to consider.
Okay, and then another one, this guy Pedro,
Okay.
he found his advice on social media marketing
Okay.
and saw a 365% increase in sales
Wow.
for his e-commerce store.
That is remarkable. Now, of course, the skeptic in me wants to know, 365% of what?
Right.
What was the baseline?
Exactly.
But, regardless, that kind of growth is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And I think it speaks to their focus on actionable advice, which is really promising.
It is promising.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not about the massive wins. Sometimes it's about seeing that someone else did a thing that you always thought was impossible.
Right, exactly.
And then you're like, oh, maybe I could do that too.
Yeah.
And that's where I think Jacob's story
Okay.
really spoke to me. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's a web designer, and like a lot of freelancers, he was stuck in that cycle of like low-paying gigs, you know?
Yeah.
But after he took Foundr's Start Your Side Hustle course,
Okay.
he was able to raise his rates to $150 an hour
Wow.
and start working with like Silicon Valley startups.
That's huge. And I think that's a really important point that you bring up, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody who's looking to get into entrepreneurship
Right.
wants to build this, billion-dollar e-commerce business,
That's
right?
true.
Some people, they're looking for more, maybe like lifestyle freedom, flexibility,
Right, exactly.
And I think Jacob's story shows that maybe Foundr's advice can translate even if you're not gunning for that, traditional business.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk Trustpilot.
Okay.
Because I have to say, 4.8 stars,
Yeah.
that is impressive.
That is tough to get.
Like, how are they getting that score?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Well, one thing that really stood out to me just from browsing through the reviews was the emphasis on customer service.
Okay.
It seems like Foundr really understands the importance of supporting their students, even beyond just the content of the courses.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like, for example, Johanna, she raved about their customer service, called it kind, helpful, and reactive.
Huh.
And she's not alone.
Okay.
Sia mentioned, like, really putting their customer service through the ringer
Oh.
and still coming away impressed.
Okay, so their customer service is like top-notch.
It seems to be a common thread.
Yeah, yeah. Which makes you wonder,
Right.
if the free stuff, like their free content and their customer service, is that good?
Right.
Does that mean that the paid stuff's even better?
That's a great question.
You know?
It's almost as if they're saying, try before you buy.
Right.
We're so confident that you're going to love what we have to offer,
Right.
that we're willing to go above and beyond even before you've given us a cent.
Totally.
So it's a bold strategy, but it seems to be working for them.
It does. It really does. Okay, but let's talk about results.
Okay.
Because Sam, one of the reviewers, basically said what I think we're all thinking, which is, quote, do people actually make money?
Right. The million-dollar question.
Right. Like, that's what we want to know.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't, like, audit all of
You
us,
can't check everybody's bank account.
the students and stuff. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think what's interesting is not necessarily whether or not everybody's getting rich,
Right.
but how Foundr responds to that question.
Okay.
Because it is a valid concern.
Yeah.
And they consistently emphasize that they're providing proven frameworks,
Okay.
expert guidance, but they're very careful not to promise, like, instant riches, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Which to me feels very
Yeah.
responsible.
Responsible. It's refreshing, almost.
It is.
Because, there's a lot of noise out there.
Right.
A lot of people promising the world. But Foundr seems to be taking a different approach.
Totally.
It's more about, we'll give you the tools and knowledge, but your success ultimately depends on you,
Right.
on your effort, your dedication, all those factors that they can't control.
Exactly.
So it's a more grounded, I think, perspective.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. Yeah. And it's like, you can lead a horse to water.
Right. Right. Exactly.
But you can't make it drink, or in this case, build the online business.
Build the online empire. Exactly. But it is refreshing to see a company that's like,
Yeah.
hey, we can give you the tools, but you got to do the work.
You got to put in the work. It's not just going to magically happen.
Totally. Totally. Okay. So one of the other reviews
Yeah.
that I thought was interesting was from Bruce.
Okay.
And he basically said that at first he felt totally overwhelmed
Yeah.
by all the content. Have you ever run into that?
Oh, absolutely. It's like analysis paralysis, right?
Yeah.
There's so much.
It can be too much.
You try and take it all in at once, and you're just like,
Totally.
where do I even start?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, why I think this whole idea of community is so important.
Okay.
And Foundr really seems to emphasize that, right? Like, they have their Facebook group. They're really trying to create that sense of, you're not alone in this.
Which, I mean, I will say,
Yeah.
especially when you're first starting out in anything,
Right.
feeling like you're part of a community can make all the difference.
Totally. Having that support system, that network of people who understand what you're going through, it's invaluable, really. Cool. And, speaking of that, I think that ties into another pattern we've observed with Foundr. Okay. Which is this emphasis on structured learning.
Interesting.
Their courses, they're designed with, like, a clear roadmap, the step-by-step system.
Okay.
They're not just like, here's a bunch of random information, good luck.
Which, let's be real.
Right.
There are a lot of courses out there like that.
So many.
Yeah.
You end up with this jumble of information.
Yeah.
No idea how to implement any of it.
Exactly.
But it seems like Foundr's trying to avoid that.
Okay.
They're giving you that clear path to follow.
Which, I mean, I'm sure for some people that's like exactly what they need.
Absolutely. Some people thrive in that kind of structured environment.
Totally.
Where it's like, okay, I need to do this, then this, then this. Mm-hmm. Check, check, check.
Right, right. So going back to Bruce, who felt overwhelmed.
Yeah.
He felt overwhelmed, but did he find his way?
Well, here's the thing, right? We talked about their customer service getting rave reviews. Mm-hmm. And it turns out Bruce was actually able to, like, book a one-on-one call.
Okay.
With somebody from Foundr.
Oh, interesting.
To get some personalized support.
Okay, so they're not just like throwing you to the wolves. They're like, okay, we get it. This is a lot. We can help you.
Exactly. We're here to support you. We're not just going to leave you hanging.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you're still on the fence, right? Like a whole course, that feels like a big commitment.
Right.
Zuzana to the rescue. Because in her review, she mentions the 5-day challenge.
Oh, yes. The 5-day challenge, that's a great point.
Right.
It's such a good way to get a taste of what Foundr's all about.
Right.
Without having to, shell out a bunch of money up front.
Exactly. Have you ever done like a free challenge or a webinar?
All the time. I mean, who hasn't these days?
Yeah.
It's such a low-risk way to just get a feel for, is this the right fit for me?
Yeah, totally. And then speaking of dipping your toes in, Johanna mentions in her review that they have a ton of free content.
Oh, yeah. They have a very generous free library, don't they?
Podcasts, webinars, even like mini courses.
Yeah, it's impressive.
It's a lot. All for free, which to me says something. It says they're confident enough in what they have to offer that they're not afraid to give away.
Yeah, exactly. They're willing to give away a lot of value up front.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, honestly builds trust with me.
Totally.
Because they're clearly committed to providing value,
Yeah.
Even if you don't pay them a dime.
Right, exactly, exactly. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
A lot of information to process.
We've seen their stats. Mm-hmm. We've seen the testimonials. Mm-hmm. We've looked at the Trustpilot reviews, but what does it all mean? What's the overall impression?
What's the verdict?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's safe to say, right, based on everything we've seen, that Foundr is, they're more than just hype. They're offering a structured, community-driven approach to online entrepreneurship.
Okay.
With a real emphasis on actionable advice. Like, they want to give you the tools that you can actually use.
Right. Not just
inspiration.
Like motivational quotes.
Right. Exactly. Right. Motivation is great.
Mm-hmm.
But you need more than that to build a successful business, right?
Totally. Totally. But, you mentioned how Pedro found success as the e-commerce store and his social media marketing. And I think that speaks to...
Yeah, that's a really good point. It highlights that while Foundr offers courses on a lot of different things, their real bread and butter, their sweet spot, if you will, seems to be e-commerce, online business models.
Totally.
I mean, you look at their courses, right? Mm-hmm. Start and scale your online store. Instagram domination.
Right, right.
A lot of it revolves around the digital realm.
That's a really good point.
Right. So while their advice might be valuable for, any entrepreneur, I think it's fair to say that they might be best suited for people who are specifically looking to build an online presence.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Not to say they neglect other aspects.
Not at all.
Right. Like we talked about Jacob's Start Your Side Hustle, which is
exactly.
a little broader.
It's a little more, generally applicable.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But I think if you're someone who is like, I'm going to open a brick and mortar.
Right.
I'm opening a restaurant.
Right. A local service-based business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Foundr might not be the best fit.
Exactly. Yeah. Or at least that might not be where their strengths lie.
Their expertise might lie elsewhere.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So we've established that they're not some fly-by-night operation.
Yeah. They're not just some, scammy guru
Right.
promising you the world.
Selling you snake oil?
Exactly. They're providing real value.
Yeah.
But I think the question remains, is it the right value for you?
Is it worth it for you?
Yes.
And that's a question, unfortunately, only you can answer.
Right, exactly. It depends on your individual needs and goals.
Totally. But we can help you unpack that question.
Break it down.
A little bit.
Absolutely. So let's get down to brass tacks here.
Okay.
What are your entrepreneurial goals? What are you hoping to achieve?
Yeah, what are your biggest pain points right now?
Right. What's holding you back?
Yeah.
And then, equally important, what kind of learner are you?
Oh, that's huge.
Because not everybody learns the same way.
No, not at all.
Right. Some people, like we were saying, need that structure, that step-by-step guidance.
Yep.
While others, they prefer a more, self-directed approach.
Right.
They want to figure things out on their own.
Totally. So really understanding yourself as a learner is just as important as understanding the content you're trying to learn.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. You could buy the best course in the world.
Right.
But if it doesn't fit how you learn,
exactly,
it's not going to work.
It's not going to do you any good.
Exactly. Yeah.
And, speaking of which, going back to those success stories for a second, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Did any of those really resonate with you in terms of your learning style or your goals?
Yeah. It's a good question. It is interesting thinking about Steph, who, her revenue went through the roof after working with a coach.
Right, that one-on-one support.
Yeah. And I do wonder if for some people, that's the missing piece.
Right. You need that personalized guidance.
Yeah. Whereas for other people, it's no, just give me the roadmap.
Right, just give me the structure.
Tell me what to do and I'll go do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Different strokes.
Totally. Okay, so we need to talk about one more thing before we wrap up.
Okay, what's that?
Which is Zuzana's review.
Okay.
Where she mentions the 5-day challenge.
Right.
The 5-day challenge.
I feel like this is huge.
It's such a valuable resource.
Because it's 5 days of getting to see behind the curtain.
Exactly. Dip your toes in the water.
Right. No risk.
Yep.
See if it's a fit for you.
Exactly. And sometimes I think we can get so caught up in researching and analyzing.
Totally. We get paralyzed.
Yes. Analysis paralysis.
Yes. We're is this the right decision?
Yes.
And then we never do anything.
And then you've wasted all this time and energy.
Yeah.
And you haven't actually moved forward.
Right. Exactly. So to me, this 5-day challenge is the perfect solution.
It's a no-brainer, really.
It's just do it.
Yeah.
5 days.
Worst case scenario, you walk away with some valuable insights, right?
Yeah. Maybe you learn something new. Best case scenario.
Yeah.
You discover this amazing platform and community.
Totally.
That helps you take your business to the next level.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we're wrapping up our deep dive here on Foundr, I think the thing to keep in mind, no matter what, whether you go with Found, whether you go with another platform, whether you're you know what, I'm going to figure it out on my own.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship is a journey.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. And it requires constant learning and growth.
Absolutely. So as we leave you today, I want to leave you with this one thought-provoking question, which is imagine yourself a year from now.
Okay.
Right. You're successfully navigating the entrepreneurial world.
Okay.
What skills, what knowledge would have made the biggest difference in getting you there?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Because once you know what those gaps are, you can go out and find the resources to fill them.
Exactly. You can be proactive. You can seek out the mentorship, the courses, whatever it is that you need.
Love it.
Yeah. The important thing is to keep moving forward, right?
Yes.
Don't get bogged down in fear. Don't get stuck in analysis paralysis.
Right.
Just take action. Keep learning. Keep growing.
And remember, we are here
to
help you navigate it all.
One deep dive at a time.
Exactly.
That's all we're here for.
Okay. So until next time, keep those entrepreneurial fires burning.
Absolutely.